I'm Ms. Goodwin, and today we are going to learn how to add and subtract in other bases. First, we will start with addition. The first strategy to addition is the traditional algorithm. In the traditional algorithm, you add just like you normally would in base 10. However, the sum of the two numbers that you add cannot exceed the base value. If we had 53 base 9 plus 78 base 9, we would add the 3 and 8 just like we normally would. However, 3 and 8 equals 11, which is above the value of 9, which is our base value. So, in order to make this correct, we have to take out a group of 9, which would leave us with 2. So, we would have 2 left over down here, and we would regroup this group of 9 up here by the 5. Now we do 1 plus 5 plus 7, which equals 13. 13 also exceeds 9, so we'll have to take out a group of 9 as well, which would leave us with 4. We place 4 down here by the 2, and then we'll regroup that group of 9 up here into the hundreds place, which would give us 1 in the hundreds place, and that would give us 142 base 9. The next strategy in addition is lattice. In lattice, it's a grid form. So, if we were to have 3e12 plus t4 base 12, we would first have to figure out what e and t mean. In base 12, e stands for 11 and t stands for 10. Now we can set up a lattice form. Okay, in lattice form, you set up a grid. The grid takes care of the regrouping for you with the division of the boxes. First, we have to add these up like we would in the traditional. 11 plus 4 is 15. 15 is greater than 12, so we minus 12 out of there. Now, 15 minus 12 equals 3. So because we took a group of 12 out, we have 1 up in this half of the box and 3 down here. Now, if we were to do 3 plus t, that would be 3 plus 10 equals 13. 13 also exceeds 12, so we will minus a group of 12 out, and that will leave us with 1. So our regrouping of that 12 is right here, and the 1 left over is right here. Then you add these up in each diagonal column. So 1, 2, and 3. The answer is 123 base 12. The next strategy in addition is base blocks. In base blocks, you use the base 10 blocks in a classroom, but you can use them in different base values. In base blocks, the hundreds place is used to represent by flats, the tens place are called rods, and the ones are called units. Now to set this up, we would have 4 flats, 3 rods, and 2 units. That's how you get 432 in base blocks. Now, in order to get 104, you would have 1 flat, 0 rods and 4 units. Now to add these up. First, you have to regroup. Since we're in base 5, a rod is worth 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units would equal a rod. Now that we've regrouped the ones, we can regroup the tens. There's only 3, so there's no regrouping involved in that. Now we have to regroup the flats into a thousands place, which is represented by a cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That equals a cube. This would now give us 1 cube, which is 1,000, 0 flats, 3 rods, and 1 unit in base 5. So you have 1, 0, 3, 1 in base 5. Now we will move on to subtracting in other bases. The first strategy of subtracting in other bases is the traditional algorithm as well. The traditional algorithm is set up the same way it was in addition. However, the regrouping is different. If we start with 95 base 12 minus 4e base 12, we start by 5 minus 11. E still equals 11, and even in subtraction. So 5 minus 11, that's not possible without getting negative numbers. So we will trade a group of 12 from the tens place and create a trade of 12. So 5 plus 12 is 17. 17 minus 11 will give you 6. Now we have 8 minus 4, which is 4. So the answer to this equation is 46 base 12. The next strategy in subtraction is base blocks. Base blocks is set up a little differently in subtraction than it is in addition. Now, we have the same base that we used in addition. However, in base blocks, in the base blocks of subtraction, we only write the first equation. So we have 2 flats, 3 rods, and 3 units. And then we subtract this number from the original base block model. So first we'll start with the ones like we normally would. 3 minus 4, well, we only have 3. So we're going to trade a rod for 5 units. Now we have enough units to subtract 4. And we're left with 4 units. Now we need to subtract 3 rods. We don't have 3 rods anymore. So now we're going to have to trade a flat for 5 rods. Now we have enough to subtract 3. And we're left with 4. Now we have to subtract 1 flat, which leaves us with no more flats. So our answer would be 1, 2, 3, 4 rods 1, 2, 3, 4 units in base 5. These are all strategies that you can use for adding and subtracting in other bases.